Dan here, D's Beach Shop. Man, that's a good looking ugly 57 Chevy. I've been kind of out of commission the last couple days, a little bit on the sick side, so not a whole lot has happened on this old girl. But you know what? The benefit of not working on stuff, parts show up. We got boxes. We got all sorts of things here, and I'm thinking the next kind of 2 videos-ish, I want this thing to run on a proper fuel system, and I'll probably hot wire it. I don't think it'll be properly wired, but I would like this thing to drive out of the garage this weekend, because we have to do the car shuffle. Camaro has to come in, this has to go outside, and that old jalopy Ford truck has to come in one of these garages because it's getting lettered up. So I have a plan. Anyways, the mail. So we'll start off here. I mentioned these in the last video, carburetors. So we have a tunnel ram deal. So we got 2 FST 600s. I wanted vacuum secondaries. Ken hooked me up. This guy always knows, you know, I tell him, hey, here's what I'm thinking. He goes, no, here's what you need. You know, you talk to the experts. I said in the last video, he's a stand-up guy, so I'll support him right to the very end. He helped me out, not knowing me at all, and you know, I just appreciate that. That's, you know, Hot Rodder 101. He sent me some gaskets because the last time I got froggy and I changed my own gaskets and had a leak. And you know what? We might put a sticker on this thing. So we got these 2 going on. A couple other things. So my buddy Drag Week John, I have a problem with rally wheels, and he got a buddy, his Drag Week buddy, is like, hey, have you seen these caps you can get? They're like a cop kind of cap for a rally wheel, and they have some with the little GM, you know, bow tie insignia. Well, you know what Scamazon has? I look good. The cheapos. Oh, you can say hi to yourself. So I put them on. It's like open my eyes to rallies. They're kind of like a baby moon. I don't know if they're for this application or not, but a set of 4 of those might look kind of cool, especially if you paint the rally wheels black. It's like almost kind of Dodge-esque, like the Dodge Cop kind of rally wheel deal, or whatever they want to call them. So that's sweet. We got that going on. Finally, we got headlight buckets. So this here is a factory 57 Chevrolet headlight bucket. Now, what would you say this would be worth? With this little adjuster inside. 140 bucks each. That's ridiculous. I couldn't possibly do that. So I was looking around and I found 47 to 54 Focus truck GMC. Guess what these are? Well, I'll tell you what, both 2 are far less than one of these. I think both together were not even 100 bucks. Obviously they're truck stuff, so you're like, oh, it's not gonna fit, Dan, you're an idiot. You might be right, but they hold the same bulb, they're the same circular diameter. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty friggin' sure the housing is the exact same. It has the same kind of, you know, cutout there as it would there. There's one on the side, one on the side. I mean, everything is the same. The adjusters now, I think they used to be left and right, but now they're all universal, so you get one. Now, the only trick is, and I think this is where they want to gouge you, 5, 6, 7 Chevys all have each year different tabs on the base itself, or on the bucket, for holding the trim on. I don't know if I have, I think one might be on, oh yeah, one's on. I think I had one on the ground. I'll clean it up now. So the way 57 is, it's got 1, 2, 3, which go to the housing, and the 4th at the top goes right into the top of the fender. So we will have to modify it, which, you know what, to save $200, this one here, we'll have to take these off, you know, tack them on. Do these? No, they don't have the holes. No, they kind of do. Maybe not. I don't know. Jesus, this is the exact same. It's got little holes here. So anyways, these are riveted on. We can do the same thing. Rivet them, screw them, weld them, whatever. Transfer one over. I only have the one bucket. I don't have any of the guts for it. That's why we're doing this. So the other one, we'll have to duplicate these with some sheet metal. But all they take is like a sheet metal screw. So that's that. Are you done rambling it? Oh, I got taillight lenses. We can put that on there. Make it look like a friggin' car. And then Well, we're going to be under the hood. So we got to do fuel system, carburetors. I actually found linkage while I was looking around. So I got some carburetor linkage, which I pre-cobbled. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do, peel the hood off because it's heavy and I need to be working a ton of Ram stuff. We got to deal with some cooling issues, some steam port issues, and I don't have a gas pedal yet, but I think I have a line on one. I'm going to get one this weekend. But by the end of this video, fingers crossed, it'll be running under its own power, and we got to do transmission lines, torque converter bolts, have a drive shaft. It's in the other shop, so we got stuff. I'll round it apart soon, but until then, it'll be fun. The friggin' hole's lined up in the fender, so it's meant to be. Like I said, we just got to figure out the little tabs, but at the end of the day, pretty good. And honestly, we could probably screw it into the fender on the top, and there's a little tab at the bottom. We can really just bend into place, and it would have two. So all we gotta do is just put a couple side ones on. So perfect. Now we have the carburetors off. They're good. They're just not. They're not shiny. And let's be honest, we need shiny. The real issue we're going into, well, hopefully it's going to be a non-issue. These LS motors, they have these little steam ports in the top of the cylinder head, and this thing here goes to all four corners, and then this runs into, I don't know if it runs into the reservoir tank or what it does, but anyways, what we're gonna do, I bought this little piece because this rad hose is already modified. It's two rad hoses put together, so we're gonna put this piece in, and it has a pipe thread, so we can put that in, clamp back together, line it all up. We'll probably have to shorten one or the other, or both, acting as a rad cap. And we'll just put a barb fitting in there, and we'll join it in to be super simple. Now, the problem we ran into, this intake manifold got all in the way of all this stuff. So I'm gonna try, they sell a kit where you can block the back ones off, which we may do, but this thing here was really our main issue. So if I can snip that, put it in as like a three-way deal, just use a piece of rubber hose there. It'll be just like factory, but it'll be flexi hosed, you know, Martzke approved. Oh, and so that'll be good. Then all we gotta do is just run a line to the front, and we're golden. Of course, I've lost all the hardware, but other than that, it's just metric stuff. I wonder if I can just put like a imperial bolt in there, and it'll be like good one time. You know what I mean? But don't worry, I probably won't do that. I got to run out and get some stuff anyway. So we'll see if that'll fit. If that all lines up, then we're golden. Then carry on and put the intake or the carburetors on, because that's top priority of the day. And then I think realistically this thing has to go up in the air, so we can do fuel system, maybe put the drive shaft in, and start playing around with the transmission. So I'm not sure what it has for cooler line stuff. I do have fittings on the radiator, so that's sweet. AN line. I must have been expensive that day. I have any fittings here I can use. And we'll go from there. Fuel line, I'm going to use EFI, fuel injection line. I'm just a believer. Even though it's carbureted, it does do better with today's fuels as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, pretty slick. Let's see if this will fit. Okay, so I was talking to my close personal enemy, Martzke Repair, and he was giving me attitude. He's like, all you do is you talk about doing stuff, then you just do it. You should be like more like me and film yourself for hours and hours screwing around. Which I can't believe anybody watches that dribble. But anyways, I thought, oh, let's try that out. See what happens here. You guys can watch the full show, and we'll see what happens. Okay, everyone, close your eyes. I don't think any sparks went on the motor. Hopefully only a few. Okay. So if we can thread the needle with this, then that would make my life 1,000 times easier. What is it caught on? Oh, my life. There we go. No, there we go. Okay. Well, oh, you know what? I see what the problem was there. That was the issue as per usual. It has the Valley pan with the NOx sensors in it. Probably should have done this with the intake manifold off. That's like 7 or 8 bolts I'd have to take out versus just struggling. Oh, did we nail it? No. No, we didn't. Oh, just keep plugging away and eventually it'll kind of go into its spot. That's what I've learned with hot rods. You know what? Well, that's gonna hit that. Okay, so that will be mint. So you know what I probably should have done before I put that piece in was put the rubber hose on with a clamp. Okay, we got a little piece in there. Yeah, it should work out good. We can carry on and put carburetors on. Honestly, the whole reason we're here is to put carburetors on. Will it fit, or am I going to have to do a little trimming? Ooh. Oh, just not quite. Oh, perfecto. We may have to do just a small amount of trimming if we want to run air filters, but let's be honest, who runs air filters? What is this jammed on? Oh, there we go. These things have chokes on them. Who the heck runs chokes? We'll probably zip tie those. You know, the other thing people always ask me, why do you put a tunnel ram and everything? I honestly feel like if I have to answer that question to you, I am sorry. I mean, even Murr, why does everything have to have a tunnel ram on it? You know what? I've put a lot of miles on tunnel ram stuff, and it's just fine. I mean, you struggle a little bit. You hate your life when you're trying to tune it all and all that. It's not touching nothing. And such is life. But you know what? It just looks badass to the dudes at the gas station when they come up and be like, I used to have one of them in high school, and you go, yep, I'm sure you did, sir. Okay, let's go ahead and get these things torqued down. The nice part about this, because there's vacuum secondary simple stuff, I will say the double pumpers look cooler. You gotta mount them sideways, which I wasn't a big fan of just because the linkage is it's expensive. Anyways, the nice thing with this, we just have 2 fuel lines to do. So this is the fuel line. I think I'm probably gonna put the regulator over there, and then we'll just kind of run a line over. And yeah, whether we run it through the tunnel ram and up and around or on the back, I'm not really too sure. This one seems a little stiff. I'll have to give it a little lubrication, but yeah. Just looks cool. And yeah, we'll definitely have to trim that out. I mean, if you want to put velocity stacks on, you gotta have the room for it. Okay, let's get these things locked down. Car's up in the air. We got to get the underneath boring stuff done, which is terrible, but I have to get her taken care of. So we got boxes, Rock Auto and stuff. We have a set of shocks. We'll put those in there. We got fuel line. Those are miscellaneous fittings. I have some heat, little spark plug boots for the headers, or to avoid the headers. This stuff here is Speedo cable junk because this thing didn't have a Speedo cable in it. I ran out, I don't want to roll over this because that'll be bad. I ran out and got a few things. I got a set of headlights, some clamps, I got some hardware. I found this, so we can put a little U for the heater core because we're running electric. I got some fittings here to plumb in a fuel pressure gauge and serpentine belt and U-straps for the drive shaft, which I actually got to go get. And then there's no transmission lines, but of course you keep everything. So we're gonna end up scabbing some of this stuff. I really just need this fitting because the transmission's missing it. So I think they're all the same, I hope anyways. We'll jam that in there and then maybe bolt the ring gear to the torque converter, front shocks, hook up the shifter. There's actually a lot to do under here, which is kind of lame and boring. And yeah, but I'll start plumbing the fuel lines. I'll put the shocks in. We'll do a few easy things like that, but I don't know. It's boring. The fun, shiny stuff, that's where we want to be. Okay, so just a quick once over. We got the shocks in. Oh, I should have had a light there. Oh well. Shocks are in, you have to trust me. The fuel line's hanging. I gotta put a little hanger up in there. We go around the side, and fuel line goes into the pump. A few people are complaining it's close to the exhaust. I can fit my hand sideways, so 4 or 5 inches type thing in there. So that's all dialed. As far as I think that's lots of airspace. If you would have run your exhaust on the inside and then have a fuel pump there, it's no different. Front shocks are in, and then over here with both lights, because I'm an idiot, we have, what happened there, put the speedo piece in, shifter cable is in, that's all dialed, drive shaft. So again, if you're local, or actually, I think he's had people from Saskatchewan and stuff, if you want to pay the freight, Domar Transmission, Ryan, he'll build you a drive shaft. I drop off a yoke and a measurement, so if it's wrong, it's always my fault, but you can see how much stick out there. Perfect. All the way to the back, balanced, perfectly welded, Domar Transmission. I love that guy. It's a day of people that I've met over the years that are just reliable, and it's so nice to have a guy you can call. Like, to have a drive shaft guy that just like, here's what I need, and he goes, great, it'll be this much, and I say, great. And I drop off a piece, and a couple days later, it's done, and it works. There's no screwing around. I love it. We have to drop the vehicle down so the shocks can go through the body. I'll show you, they're stupid on these Tri-5s in the trunk. We can lock those down. I then have to just make some transmission lines, and see, I think torque converter is just standard. Some torque converters are metric hardware. If that's the case, we're not hooking that up, but I think this is an old converter, so I'm hoping it's just like a 3/8 bolt. So we'll put some of those in there, get those locked in. It's hard to show stuff under the car, unfortunately. And then we can work up top. But yeah, that's kind of that. But you know what's happened? Supper time. And Danny's cooking. And you know what? You don't miss supper. So I'm going to do that, and we'll be back out in a little bit, and we should be able to get the bottom side taken care of, and then up top, shouldn't be a whole lot, fingers crossed, but you never know. I keep adding stuff to the list. So we're back down on the ground. And check this out. For the first time in who knows how many years, the thing has park. Amazing. So with the weight on it, I managed to put the shocks on and done, so that's good. This is the rear shocks in these Tri-5s. That, whatever. So they go right into the body. You can see it there. There's endlessly cracks and stuff. I think maybe just 57. They have that little brace going across there. So we got that all dialed together. I don't know if this one was cracked or not. The body always stress cracks. If it does, I probably weld it together, or I should have. What else we got going on here? Oh yeah, I made, you can see those copper lines. Brand new, so those are transmission lines just going up there. I have to attach them to the lower section of the radiator, but that's pretty simple to get done. Torque converter's hooked up. I will say, if you guys don't have this thing on like Amazon or your favorite whatever website, man, you hook this on the ring gear and you can just boop, boop. Makes life so much easier versus pry bars, trying to bump it with a starter or screwdriver or whatever. Like, my God, it's the ticket. Now, what we have to do is we have to build this. So this is the regulator, because this thing has an electric fuel pump, and I think we're going to set it to like 6 PSI or whatever carburetor Ken tells me to do. This does have, I thought it said returns on the bottom. Oh, out is that side. So I have to flip it on the bracket, but we'll take it apart. We'll just self-tapper it kind of somewhere on that piece of sheet metal I made. This aluminum line will be fuel in. So in will be on this side, returns blocked. But then on the outside, we actually have to make a bit of a piece here. So I kind of set myself up on the workbench. The fender, whoops, that was jarring. So I want to make sure we have this the right way, so out. So what we're going to concoct here, some of them maybe nicer regulators have a gauge on them, or you can run a gauge If you're gonna go like a single carburetor, a lot of times the, if it's a double pump or whatever, we'll have a little spot for a gauge, but we currently don't have that. So what we're gonna do is thread this piece in. So this is pipe thread, which is kind of handy. And I'm gonna just turn it into AN crap, because that is what the speed shop had. Hopefully this won't leak. So we'll go that. Guess I should go a little more. Hang on, what way is this gonna go? This is actually gonna be the outside. So, well, of course I need a vise. Hang on. We're back. I just had to get it cranked, so when this is sitting on the firewall, I want to make sure the gauge kind of sticks out. And the way this is going to work, so it's got a little kind of jam nut, and then you can adjust this in and out, which will increase or decrease fuel pressure. So pretty simple stuff. I guess I could have pre-taped this stuff, eh? Pipe dope. This is the gauge we're going to use. There's a few different styles. This is your Marshall. I don't know. It's what they had. You want to make sure you get one that's good for the pressure you're trying to accomplish. So carburetor, you know what this one runs up to, 15. Seems like a lot, but that's the way she goes. So we'll go ahead and thread this. So all this fitting is, it's going to go from pipe into AN, and we're only doing AN because we need a barb. So we'll be able to do that. And this will then be able to go in that fuel injection, style line, and this will just tighten up, doesn't need any dope on it. And then this here, we'll thread this in. Just like that. These usually kind of, I've had these leak, so I'm just kind of a little leery about them. But there we go. And then on this side, we have that aluminum. I could probably got some fittings to it and all that, but we're gonna go from aluminum. I'll flare the end, and we'll have a little section of rubber hose, and that's what will end up on the firewall, and then we can adjust our fuel pressure. So I'll go ahead and just snap that in real quick. Where did I put the, I took this off. So we'll be able to flip that around, but it just has two holes. We'll self-tapper it, put that back together, and it'll be perfect, hunky-dory. Then we'll have to go out of this and decide what we want to do for fuel. It might be a little bit of a temporary fuel system for the time being. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so we got all these little insulator deals on. They had these little rings in them, so I had to cut those out so it would fit around the boot. Kind of a stupid thing, Amazon. We got that dialed. I got our the steam port thing all together and done, so that's cool. We have our water temp hooked up, so that's cool. What else to do? Oh yeah, over here we did all the fuel stuff. So here's the deal we got. I set aluminum line up, I flared it, and then we have a little section of fuel injection line into the thing. And then from here, I don't know what I'm gonna do. We want to keep away from the exhaust, but honestly, fuel, like a straight fuel line, maybe across under the intake or something like that, then just over and tee up into the carburetors might be kind of cool. I don't have a fuel filter, I gotta get one of those. Not the end of the world right now. It is a new tank, new pump, new line, new carburetors. It's fine. I'll blow it all out with some air, but I think we should be okay. Or maybe even before I hooked up the carburetor, I might just dump a little fuel into a jug. I don't have any fuel. It's already gotten kind of late, so I think we'll just kind of keep working, and tomorrow we'll fire it up. Next thing, we're going to focus on the cooling system, or the radiator, I should say. So I'll flare both ends of those lines, and I'll just do a kind of rubber line, pretty simple in there. We'll put a belt on it. I'll bring you back when I do the steam port line here, because that'll be kind of an interesting one. One thing here, this is a neat thing. I Googled it, but if you're doing LS stuff, so here are your two cooler lines, which if you're running a heater, you would use these. They're your standard, like I'm probably 5/8 and 3/4, I'm assuming, because Chevy's the same forever. And I've heard people cap them. Some people say you shouldn't. Some people say it's no big deal. I don't know. But I Googled this. It's a Gates number, 18743. The parts store had it. I think Daco and all that probably makes it. We're going to slice them so they're even. And as you can see, it's big and less big. So we'll be able to just kind of loop it like that. It'll be pretty slick, and it's all out of the way. And as far as it's concerned, it thinks it's going through the heater core, so there's no worries there. I've had experience in the past LS motors. They're kind of a pain to like burp the air out of them and stuff like that. Oh, the light's a little crazy. I've had it where you had to like fill the lower radiator hose or upper radiator hose. I forget what you got to do there, but it's weird sometimes. So yeah, I'll get the lower rad hose on. I'll get the two lines on. I'll get this dialed, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to do this steam port thing. So it's kind of neat. It's an item I've never used before. If you're nervous about welding into an aluminum radiator, just don't have it, you can buy this piece off Amazon for like $7, and it saves a pile of time. Do that. I think we've got some linkage to kind of get taken care of. Probably take the night to think on it, and then we'll fire up tomorrow. Maybe even put in gear. We'll see. We have no gas pedal. I got to go get one yet, so a gas pedal is pretty important for driving. Unfortunately, I've run out of the gear clamps that I like, so I'll get some more tomorrow. I mean, it's already, I think it's like 9 o'clock, so by the time I go out, get clamped, get fuel, come back, plumb this thing all together, it's just, sometimes you gotta know when to fold them. So this is the piece here. So I've showed you before, it's barb both ends. I put my little barb piece in. Now, this is the whole steam port thing. I'm not really too sure how it works, because there's kits that just block them off. There's kits that reroute them. There's kits that block the back off and not the front. I don't know. I've always used all of them, so I think at this point we might as well. So they all kind of snake together and they come out with this one port right down here, if you can see that or not. So we just have some like 1/4 inch fuel line or whatever this is, and we're gonna run that from there. And this is the magic of this. I'll have to put the, well, these are used. I got brand new clamps. Where did I put them? Oh, behind you guys. It's all about brand new clamps. So I'll go ahead, slap that on there, this on here. That can go in like that, like that. I might want to trim just a little bit more off this. It's got a bit of a kink, not the end of the world. But this will be pointing that way. Let's do a line in, and it'll be perfecto as far as I'm concerned. That's where I'm going to leave it for today. I still have a lot of little screwing around to do tomorrow. I mean, stuff that's not imperative to it running, but I might as well get taken care of. The column, we got to get that bolted in. And before we take it for a drive, I don't know if I will or not, but the kick down cable's not hooked up. I should have actually bought a bracket today. Don't know if I have one. It's just a universal snap deal, but we'll have to do some tomfoolery with that, which will be a pain, tunnel ram stuff. Not that you don't need it on it's a Turbo 350. We can get away with not using it, but come on, why would we start cutting corners now, right? So that's where I'm gonna leave it for tonight. That sounds nice. We'll be back at tomorrow, belt on, crap like that. It'll be a runner. I mean, we already know it runs, but now it's got new carburetors and a proper fuel system. Whoo, buddy. A new day. I jumped ahead and did a few things because it was mostly just like hose clamps and stuff like that. So we got the fuel line run, pretty simple. I found this is pretty jank stuff. I obviously made this because it's just a rod and then a cup like this is, I don't know what, piece of pipe, and I welded some all thread to it, which I've cut off with a zip disc. But anyways, it controls the carburetors, so we'll call that a win for now. I'll have to make like an eyelet or do something here. We don't even have a gas pedal. There's nothing there, so we gotta get that taken care of. I zip tied the chokes open. I've never had a tunnel ram that had choke deals there, so I don't know if I should hook them both up, hook one up, take it apart. But for now, they're zip tied, so it's fine. Like I said, lots of hose clamping, so we got that all dialed. Actually, there's water in the radiator now, so that's pretty good. Oh, I put the belt on, and this is that little pulley I was talking about. So I put an idler on, I just spaced it away with some washers, and it'll just give it that little bit extra, so it's not just a complete shot. It makes a big difference. I had a battery, I zip tied it to the frame, and I just made a couple battery connectors. This is pretty ugly, but that's to the starter, and then I just went into the cylinder head with the, actually, 1 gauge, which we're going to use as a ground. So that's kind of everything. I'm just walking around, double checking, make sure I got everything. There's no coolant leaking on the ground, so that's a win. It has oil in it. We ran it just a little bit. It didn't have any huge oil leaks, so that's cool. I'm probably going to dump some transmission oil in it because I'm sure there's none in there, and it's all hooked up, so you might as well dump, you know, a gallon in there. And otherwise, all I really have left is, I see if I have any wire, but I should run the wire from the fuel pump up and just have it loose dangling in the front there. We can route it anywhere after, obviously. And then I got to put in the filler neck because it came out when I was backing this thing in. It grabbed something and it fell off. So I think I have they have big O-rings. Oh yeah, I got some hanging on the wall, so I should be able to kind of put that into place and O-ring it. We should be good. This might even be it here. Nope, this is for something else. What the hell is this? Where's the pipe I was looking for? Anyways, I'll have to find it and see what I can get going on, or we'll have to do some ugliness and just get some fuel in the tank. I got 5 gallons of fresh fuel, so we'll be able to key it on, set the fuel pressure, and then, I mean, it should just crank and go. And hopefully not make a bunch of noise. And then if it's good, we can maybe lift it up, see if it goes into gear. That'd be a pretty sweet win. And then we have all sorts of other little things to do, but then, I mean, test drive shortly. Okay, so here's what we got going on. I dumped like a gallon and a bit of transmission oil into the transmission, and some leaked out, so I hope that's just through the vent. I actually had more in there than I thought. I put, 4 gallons, 5 gallons of fuel in the tank. Seems like it's holding, so that's sweet. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and play with the fuel pressure right quick. Instead of jamming it through the carburetors, I put a, is this loose? Oh, that's embarrassing. I put a vice grip on the fuel line. So what that's gonna do is hopefully, act like a closed needle and seat. Sorry guys. And I can kind of get the fuel pressure close-ish. I don't know if it's lefty, loosey, righty, tighty on this or what we're gonna do. So I have the pump hooked up to a jumper pack. We're not gonna run it off the battery. We'll just see right quick if it's gonna, okay, hear it. It's picked up. Oh, that's lots of pressure. So what way is more, what way is less? Guess we'll have to drop down to nothing there. Let's see what this does. Okay, well, that's still giving her. So it's all the way closed. And it's at 9. What the heck kind of regulator is this? And the fuel pressure drops down to 0. I let it off. That's different. What is that all about? Okay, so obviously in is less, but I feel like I had it bottomed out and it still had like 9 pounds, which is not the plan. Unless you really got to give her? Well, what the hell? This does nothing at all. Now it's leaking out of something. Well, what the? Brand new out of the box, and it doesn't do anything other than screw up and leak. What a pile of garbage. Okay, well, I'll probably just jam that right through and blow out the floats or what? Man, that pisses me off. So now I gotta go to the hot rod shop, spend a bunch of money on stupid stuff. How is that even possible? Pure junk. Okay, so we're back, and one of two things has happened. One of which is I'm an idiot. So this is the regulator I had on, and what it had was an in, an out, and a return. All I did was block the return, thinking that'll be fine. I saw some guys on the internet do it. Now, obviously, each regulator may be different. So I have a different regulator, and this is meant to not have a return. So this is designed for going back to the fuel tank. You can't, maybe you could loop it back into pressure, but I assume probably not. Anyways, I'm not doing that. We're not running back to the tank. That involves modifying the tank, which I don't want to do, or I guess this thing doesn't have a vent in it. We could screw around with that. But ultimately, you know, EFI runs that way. And if you have vapor lock issues and stuff like that, it makes sense to run back to the tank. I think we'll be okay. And ultimately, if we're not, we'll deal with that problem down the road. So now in theory, should be able to do this again. Again, I'll block off the fuel line. Carburetor Ken said 6 PSI. I've also, I don't know if I said it or not, but I zip tied the choke, so I'm sure. Here's the best part about these videos. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want, knowing full well when this video comes out, I'll get a text or a phone call saying, "You idiot, do this." I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, so that's going to like 9. What can we do here? We turn that down. So there we go. I'll show you. So we're right on 6, but you can crank it up or put it down. So put it down there. I'll lock this down. We should be golden. Let her fill up the fuel bowls. So there we go. Ooh, they're high. So we'll have to, well, that one's low, this one's high. So we'll have to, oh, this one's, in fact, no bueno. Okay, so we'll have to, damn it, we'll have to adjust that down, that float down. You know, you'd think I'd stop using this as a workbench. We gotta drop all these down. These two are okay. That one we gotta drop. So I'll play with that much of the same. There's a little jam nut, we'll loosen that, and then just force the float down, and we'll be golden, in theory. So that's what I'll get done right now, carry on with my life. Okay, so I dropped the floats a little bit. Actually, one thing I learned, Drag Week John, he was showing me when we were on the dyno. So you want, I mean, the little bubble to be, I guess, more on the bottom side or something like that. And what he was saying is, the higher it is, the richer the carburetor will be, and if you kind of lower it down, the leaner it will be. I guess has something to do with the amount of fuel behind it or something like that, which I guess makes sense. So I dropped them down a little bit, but I think we have to kind of run the thing maybe to get that fuel out of the bowl a little bit. So I lowered all of them. So in theory, we should be able to jam this in here, just like that. we have that all hooked up. This is to the box. That is to the starter. Now we're gonna run it without any fuel. There's fuel in the carburetors. This is the bloodbath I made. But again, leaking on the driver's side, I'm pretty sure means vent. I'm hoping. So in theory, this should bump. Okay, so that's good. Nothing's in the way. So we'll click it on, and it should just run. What's in park, right? Yeah, okay, we're good. Contact. Nada. What's going on there? We should have power, we should have ground. Why would this not be happy? That's connected. This is switch 12. So yeah, we should be running. Oh, unless it's flooded. Which it is. Or needs a little bit more idle, maybe? There we go. So we need a return spring on it. It's running. We got oil pressure. Yeah, 35 pounds. Might be a little richy rich, but we'll have to play with it a little. She's snappy. And now we should be able to kill it. Okay. Man. It's kind of boring because there's no setting the timing or any of that crap. We can play with the carburetor for sure. I'm going to clean all my tools off. And by clean off, I mean put on that workbench. And then we'll make sure nothing's unhappy. I'm going to double check the headers, make sure they're all tight. Heard a bit of a clickety-clack here. The risk is when we weld it on those flanges, I mean, they could have been warped a little bit, so it may need dual gaskets. Man. Okay, well, man, LSs are so boring. They just work. Where's the popping through the carburetor and screwing around and having to bump it over? I mean, it's almost boring. Well, it is boring. We'll do that, and then play with the carburetor, let it warm up a little bit. Oh, I was gonna put this fan on. I pulled it out. If I thread it on there, it hits the little water neck there, or the inlet of the radiator. So I'd either have to lift the rad up, which isn't the end of the world, or I mean electric fan. So we'll just see. Hopefully we have gears. I know we have brakes. Let air out a little bit in here. It's still daylight, man. Time change. We're doing all right. Spring is coming.
Did you tell the people what you did?
We're on GoPro. My phone, what'd I do?
You made me sick.
No, you made me sick.
No.
Here's what happened. So everyone's watching now. We'll put it on pause for the actual listening of gears. I was feeling sick. I was just trying to rest. Danielle was all about the money. She had to make her own.
That's not true.
She says every time there's something that's like, she's like, we need a schmoo, because she needs a video for her channel because she's so greedy about it. And I didn't want to do it. I had to get out of my jams and film some crap for her. And now she's sick.
None of that is true.
Anyways, LS motor with carburetors on it, so it's mint. So I think we should be good. Like I said, I set the floats. That should be okay. I moved everything. I want to run it for a little bit, see if it kind of warms up, circles a little bit of coolant through it. It's just dead cold. I don't know if this MSD box. What? The Muromatic. It works fine. Oh, I ratchet strapped the battery to the chassis. I learned my lesson last time because batteries end up on headers, and that's not bueno. Anyways, so it's not charging, but it does move in water, so that's all that really matters. There's no electric fan. There's miscellaneous stuff, but I think these are all just vents. I don't think there's any vacuum leaks or anything. It sounded like it was pretty good. So Ready for this, like, Frankenstein? No, it's just a fuel pump. So it should be good. We'll let that go. I don't think it's going to spurt any fluid out. We're at 6 pounds. Okay, ignition. Transmission. Oh yeah, no steering. We got it all. You're amazed that it's just working. A little bit more idle, maybe. Like Dr. Frankenstein. Neighbor to show up. It's almost kind of boring. It smokes a little. It's definitely a little rich, but it's exciting. I'm pretty happy with it. The motor sounded good. It had oil pressure. We checked it. Doesn't sound like it's making a whole bunch of terrible noises. Again, we'll run it a little bit, do an oil change, see what it does, and ultimately it just has to run. Got to get the coolant through it. Let the thermostat open, but it has gears. Tomorrow, speaking to Danny and the needing all sorts of
more schmoo at DD's Speed Shop for all your behind the scenes fun.
For all your behind the scenes fun. But there's a guy actually in the local Tri-5 club that has a gas pedal. So the gas pedal on this thing, I'm going to use the old mechanical one just because it's there. It's 2 bolts through the firewall. It has a mechanical lever, and I'll have to make something to connect. And then same with a kickdown cable for the transmission. Turbo 350s don't actually need it, but we'll make it work. I got some adapters we can try and get together. Then we got to bolt the seat down, bolt seats, column. I want to get the headlights in. I have a grill actually. I can put the grill in tomorrow. I want it to look like a car that can sit outside because it's going to sit outside for a little bit. I'll probably put the hood back on, but ultimately we'll get all that done. We could probably go for a quick ride around the block and just make sure everything's kind of decent. I do kind of have to elig the tires a little bit. They're a little towed in. But then, yeah, I want to drive this thing out of the friggin' garage. Looks like, let's rev it up a little bit more. Go stand at the back so you get the full fuel in the face.
What?
Okay.
It was loud.
You're sick. You're not deaf.
I am now. This is loud.
Selective hearing. I'm all quiet. I'm like, wait up for dinner. She's like, huh? Dinner? All right, ready? Everyone's cool. Sounds lame just idling. It really needs a rowdy camshaft. It pierces the ears.
I felt that in my eardrum.
Yeah, my brain is itchy now. But there you go. So thank you so much for watching. This thing has a full motor, transmission, rear end. Oh, it's burning my eyeballs. Drive shaft, brakes. I mean, this thing's a freaking car again. You know, another day we'll be able to hot wire it and make it run. I gotta stand outside. And then take a little bit of a break. Then all it'll need is like little stuff. We gotta wire it up, horn, lights, signals, heater. What else we gotta do? I think that's it. Oh, a lot of people were commenting on Facebook. They're like, if you don't put inner fenders in there, you might as well just throw mud down the carburetor. I'm like, oh my God. Everybody that said that was 1,000 years old too. Like, they don't understand fun. But that's where we're leaving it. Again, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we're driving this thing tomorrow, one way or the other. And worst case, we have a tow truck, so we can drive it out of the garage and tow it back home. See you on the next one.